Fun with Failure.
Hello and welcome back to Fun with Retail. This is your host Dallas. I found 5 stories from retail that I'd like to share with you today, and I hope you enjoy. So without further ado, here we go. I work in technical support, and I'm normally in my office, where it's warm, and I only have to interact with customers over the phone. We support doctors' offices and the likes. As part of our support line, we of course do migration from one software to another that we support. So we have to make sure that the software works, and is fully functional with the PC, the printers, and other medical equipment they have. And like 99% of our customers, this new one closed his office for the day that we were to install and test everything. They knew the date more than 2 weeks beforehand, and they let their patients know by letter, emails, and notices all over the place. As you guys well know, patients are just customers with another name. They don't read. The day has come when me and my colleagues are on the premises, and we happily install and test. But we made one huge mistake. We didn't lock the front door, because we might need something from the car, and it would be inconvenient to always have to unlock it whenever we might need something. Spoiler, we did not need anything. So of course, we had quite a share of people coming in while one of us was at the registration desk, and they asked for prescriptions, because they called all morning, lie, and could not reach anyone, lie. New customers have an answering machine that accepts all calls, and it also informed them that the office was closed. I know this because I tested this myself. Normally, me and my coworker, we just tell them that we don't work for the doctor, we just work for his office, and that we're from the IT team. Most would understand and went away, but not for this one lady. We will call her PL, or Poo Lady for reasons. My coworker was just in the back testing some things on the server while I installed a printer at the desk. And here she comes. Hello there. I was told this morning when I called that I could just come in and hand this to you. She was holding a bright yellow bag in her hands. Sorry, I don't work here. I'm from IT. But you're sitting there, and you're on the PC. But whatever, I just have to hand this to you. Your colleague told me to bring it in. It's my husband's stool sample. And she tried to hand me her husband's poo. I was dumbfounded, but gladly enough, I did not take it by reflex. I'm sorry, ma'am, I cannot take your husband's stool sample. I do not work for the doctor's office. I work for IT. I just test the printer. You can't just accept it and put it in the freezer or something? Or just give me another bag and dump this one? So that I can fetch another sample from him? Yes, she said fetch. Ma'am, again, I'm sorry. I can't do that. I could get in legal trouble because this sample is clearly needed for your husband's medical examination. I am not certified to handle this, and I can't give you another bag because I don't know where they are. Please come back tomorrow when the doctor will be present again. She looked somewhat understanding, but did not want to go just yet. She placed the friggin' bag of poo on the counter. You can't at least just tell me if the sample can be used again tomorrow? And what if I just put it in the freezer tonight? Seriously, I have no idea. Please come back tomorrow and ask the doctor. I honestly can't help you. And for a second, I was really afraid that she would go home and let that full bag of poo resting on the counter. But she grabbed it and she fled the office without any word. After that, I locked the front door, and I told my coworker that we won't be letting anyone else in. He still laughs about the poo lady. I was reminded of this story about competitors giving out quotes for your business and customers expecting you to honor them. I deal with musical instruments, including some vintage and some semi-vintage pieces. One such piece, while not rare, wasn't something you saw every day, so another store locally having the same thing, year, model, color, was unlikely. This was years ago, so prices may vary. Here's how the conversation went. Fred's over at other guy's shop. He said he'd sell it for $600. Ours was $800. It was a fair price at the time. Does he have one? No. I could give you great deals on everything I don't have either. Being the boss is nice. I could be a jerk sometimes, and I don't get any heat for it. This happened several years ago, but I just found this subreddit. I used to be a salesman for Cox Communications Ambassador Program, and I have to go to Walmarts and Best Buys and sell cable packages. Of course, my uniform was blue, just like Walmart and Best Buy employees' uniforms, and this caused confusion on a regular basis. This was in San Diego, where the Walmarts are horribly ran, so I shopped at Vons, and I had no clue what the store's layout was. So, when people asked me where an item was, I always replied aisle 5. The one thing I knew for sure is there's no aisle numbers. Anyways, one day I was working in Walmart, wearing a blue shirt that says Cox, my Cox ID displayed, standing behind a table that says Cox Communications in giant font with tons of stuff like Digi mascots and channel lineups, etc. Then this guy comes storming out of the bathroom screaming. He comes up to me and he says, "This bathroom is filthy. You need to clean it." I simply said that I didn't work here, and I showed him my company ID card. So, like any insane human being, he says, "So what? You're not gonna do anything?" I literally told him that he could clean it if he wanted to. Well, crazy begets crazy. So he storms off into the Walmart jungle, never to be seen again. At least not by me. Also, because people would constantly tell me that I was the youngest Walmart greeter they had ever seen, I would regularly greet people with, "Welcome to Target." That would get a ton of priceless responses. Our old phone number at my fraternity was one number off from the Domino's pizza place on campus. The prefix was 335 and ours was 334. Just about all the phones in town had one of those two prefixes. The last 4 digits were identical. We would always answer the phone. "Fraternity, Martlet 1 speaking." Very professional. So, usually starting around midnight, drunk people would start calling, and sometimes they would just bust out into what they wanted. So my roommate, he worked for Domino's, and sometimes he would be a bro and take the order. Then he would call the store, and sometimes not. So one night around 1 a.m. the phone rings, and I get met with this conversation. "Hey, mother flippers, we need some pizza." Followed by drunk laughing and semi-apologies. "Sorry, you got the wrong number." "Screw you, take our order." Followed by muffled laughter. "Okay, what do you want?" They order their pizzas and I make up a total, and I tell them about 30 minutes or less, and I go back to bed. Well, 45 minutes later, the phone rings. "Where's our freaking free pizza?" "It's on its way." "All right, biatches." I go back to bed. Then the phone rings again. Now they're really mad. "What's the deal? We're waiting outside." "I'm sorry, we're closed." They hang up, and then it rings again, but I don't get up. So the next morning around 11, I get a call wanting to speak to the manager. I told them that the fraternity didn't have a manager. Then the guy went into a tirade. He went on about coming over in person to complain, and he wanted a free pizza, yada yada yada, and I hang up. So my roommate calls and says some guy comes in complaining, and they showed him the ID box that he never called. And it didn't take them long to figure out what someone did, and they suspected me. On the way out of the Domino's, the guy backed into the Domino's sign pole, and he fled the scene. Didn't hurt the pole, but there was red taillight lens everywhere. For a while, in my 20s, I decided to spend my money and my free time at Disney World. While I was happy to go with friends, I just as often went alone. Usually I went when I was in town for conferences. Since I didn't want to kill my phone's battery playing games in line, I would occasionally strike up conversations with people nearby, and this is when the story begins. I'm in line for the Haunted Mansion, the absolute best ride in my opinion, and behind me is a dad and his daughter. I forgot how our conversation started, but I ended up sharing some trivia about the ride, and telling them how to follow me when we got inside. I knew where to stand to get on the ride sooner. The dad was impressed. "You know about this ride? Do you work here?" "No, sir. This is just my favorite ride. I've learned things riding it so much." "No, you know too much. I bet you work here." "I wish I did, but sadly I don't." The dad was eager to catch me in my secret employment. "Where's the nearest restroom?" Me, amused but annoyed. "I really don't know. I promise I don't work here." "Okay. Where's the Haunted Mansion?" I point one finger to a building ahead of us. "Ha! You don't work here. Disney cast members point 2 fingers because some cultures feel pointing 1 finger is rude." I just roll my eyes and I say, "Yep, you got me. I don't work here." He was so impressed with himself at that gotcha moment. I think he forgot that seconds earlier, he was the one that was convinced that I was a cast member. I tried telling you, dude, but okay. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed those stories. If you did, give it a thumbs up. So, I'm probably gonna take a break. I've been working for like 10, 11 hours right now on it, so I kinda need some sleep. As soon as I wake up, I'll probably get back to it. So the next two things I'm gonna have is TIFU and the Neckbeard Experience. Not sure which one I'm gonna put out first. I'll probably do the Neckbeard Experience because it's probably shorter than TIFU this week. But I might actually put out a special Neckbeard Experience because I've got 3 subscriber stories I wanted to do, and they've kind of been sitting on the back burner. That'll probably be my 1,000 subscriber special, which is going to happen real soon. Till next time, take very good care of yourselves, and I will see you again soon.